thank you to all of you for taking the time to come to this webinar. I know everybody's really busy. We are very, very excited here at Scanco to be launching our newest product line, which includes software for iOS, Android, and Windows. So this webinar is on our physical count app called Scanco Counts. Some of you may have seen it already in the App Store. That's what we're going to be covering today. We're very excited to kind of launch this product and start getting people familiar with some of the integrated options out there with smartphones, because that's where we see a lot of opportunity and a lot of customers and partners asking about going mobile. So I will just jump right in. We're going to cover today, I'm just going to go through a brief overview, a little bit about us, try and get through this PowerPoint as quickly as I can so that we can get to the demo and actually show you the product. So I'll cover a little bit about who we are. We'll go through some of the challenges that our customers face doing physical count manually. Physical count is something, as all of you know, if you have inventory, you've got to do it, whether you do it annually, whether you do it weekly. Everybody needs to track inventory. So we'll go through some of the challenges that going mobile solves. We'll talk about going mobile a little bit, and we'll jump into the demo. You're more than welcome to save your questions till the end. As Adrian said, if you have a question that needs answered right away, we'd be more than happy to answer you as you have the question. So don't be shy. So just a little bit about Scanco. As Adrian said, we're an OEM partner of Sage with the barcode module for Sage100. We've been around since 1989. Our first product was actually a batch product that you would sync information to, go back to your PC and send everything and validate it at that point. So technology, as we all know, has come a long way since 1989, and we continue to be on the forefront of that technology platform. So we're constantly evolving as a company, introducing new technology to both Sage100. We also do Sage500, and many of you probably have noticed we have introduced that we are going to be adding a NetSuite product at the beginning of 2014. So what you will see today will eventually roll over to NetSuite, so we're excited about expansion here as well. But still staying true to our relationship with Sage and our seamlessly integrated products with both Sage100 and Sage500. So as a whole, we do warehouse management. We've done warehouse management since 1989. We've had a bunch of products that do the basic transactions out in the warehouse in a variety of different ways. So we continue to evolve forward and making those transactions, making that software not only more affordable for customers, but also more technologically advanced. So we started with batch. Everybody at this point wants a real-time connection to their database so that everything is validated as you're scanning. You're not syncing, you're not doing any of that stuff anymore. And going mobile is also a very important piece of the warehouse management aspect. And so bringing smartphones and tablets continues to make solutions more affordable and available to more people as technology advances. So historically we've done warehouse management. We also do manufacturing automation. So work order module on the Sage100 side. On the Sage500 side, we do the production entry and the manufacturing transactions there. We do barcode label printing. So our barcode label printing software is seamlessly integrated to Sage, so that everything that you're printing on that label comes, any information comes from Sage directly, which allows our users a ton of options as far as label printing goes. And then many of you may have heard about this app, but our first iOS Android app was actually ScanCo Sales, and that launched at the beginning of this year. And the response to that app has been amazing at this point. Our sales app runs on iOS and Android. It does lets users create quotes, orders in the field using a barcode scanner. So that was what started this platform for ScanCo, and now we're taking that into more of the warehouse side and ScanCo Counts, which is the app that we'll see today. So let's jump right into some of the challenges that most people face when we're talking manual physical count. So like I said earlier, that could be the long annual physical count where you grab everybody that works for your company, send them out to the warehouse with a bunch of paper and a pencil and just count every single thing manually. Write the item numbers down. You take all that paperwork, you send it to somebody in the back office, and the back office then manually inputs all of the data, all the quantities, to get you to that point where you're ready to view your variance reports and make your updates to inventory. So when we're talking about manually physical count, you're talking long count times. As most of you know, you have to freeze inventory, which essentially will shut you down for the period in which you're counting to make sure, again, that you're accurate. Counts are inaccurate when you've got people writing data down, which creates data entry errors on the back end when you're inputting all of that stuff into math. So when you're not using a barcode scanning device, when you're not automating this process, you're involving a ton of humans writing information down and keying that information into Sage, which will result undoubtedly with errors. Those errors cause inaccurate inventory, which forces people to make large adjustments annually to get inventory back in sync. Ultimately, when you're doing stuff manually, all of that equates to lost revenue. So when we're talking about physical counts in a manual process, there's a ton of room to automate all of that process and get you to that point where you're pulling the variance reports. And as you implement scanning, those variances become less and less. So ultimately, instead of doing that physical count once a year, it's way more efficient, way more accurate to move those annual physical counts down into monthly, weekly. We have some customers that do daily cycle counting. So you're picking, and we'll cover this a little bit later, but you pick a group of items or a bin, a range of bins, and you count those on a regular basis. So manual physical counts, lots of room for error. So over the years, we've had all kinds of products that do exactly that automate the physical count process. Our latest iOS and Android app is called ScanCo Counts. It'll run on any iOS device, any Android device, and also Windows. So iPhone, we have customers using iPads. There's iPods, as those are a little less expensive than doing a full-blown phone. Some of the advantages to going mobile and automating that manual physical count process, studies have shown on average you're going to decrease your physical count time by 75%. And this is something that we've witnessed through 26 years of history here doing barcoding. Is one of the easiest places to get a return on investment, which is important when you're investing in an automation solution, is to implement that solution in physical count. So what we've done with this app is essentially allow our customer base to only automate the physical count process. So in years past, you had to buy the full-blown warehouse management solution to automate physical count. Physical count is such a popular application and something that everybody with inventory has to do that it made sense for us just to create an app that only does physical count and get that in the hands of as many users as we can on iOS and Android. So users aren't forced into buying the $3,000 rugged Windows scanners anymore. So you will definitely decrease your count time. It'll increase accuracy. You're eliminating all that manual data entry. So when you're scanning barcodes, because it's real-time connected to Sage100, it's going to validate everything that you're scanning as you're scanning it and tell the user right away if they've scanned an invalid item or they've entered an item number incorrectly. So you're going to increase that accuracy. Ultimately, you'll adjust less from inventory. At the end of that physical count or when you're cycle counting, if you're constantly keeping an eye on where your inventory levels are, at the end of the year, you're not going to make that huge adjustment out of inventory. So you're going to adjust less. You're going to increase the accuracy of your inventory. And then I briefly touched on cycle counting, which is a way to increase your accuracy throughout the year. So instead of at the end of the year making that full-blown physical, you're doing it monthly or weekly. And again, all of this on iOS, Android, or a Windows platform. So just to kind of briefly touch on some of the highlights of the application, and Tess will be showing us the application and going through a lot of this stuff on the demo. But it's a native iOS app, it's a native Android app, and it's also available on Windows. So customers can take advantage of the iPhone. If you've got users in your warehouse that are using iPhone or Android phones, you can actually attach a scanner to those phones and allow your users to do physical count with devices they already have. It will use Wi-Fi or a cell phone connection. So if they are using iPhones, it goes right off the data plan on the phone. If you have a Wi-Fi environment set up in your warehouse, you certainly can use Wi-Fi. It will work in real-time or batch mode. So you can actually sync, and you'll see this on the demo. It runs in real time. If you don't have a wireless connection, you can actually continue to scan, and then when you get Wi-Fi back or hit a hotspot, you can send that information into Sage. Like I said, there are a ton of barcoding accessories that are available now for iOS and Android devices. It's a cloud-based system. So our Windows app is 100% cloud-based if you're running Sage in a hosted environment. Obviously, everybody's talking about the cloud. It was very important for us when we looked at developing our new product line that we incorporated the latest, which would be cloud. So if you're hosted with Sage, it's 100% cloud. If you have your Sage system residing locally, we can also do a local configuration as well. So you've got the choice to go cloud or stay local. The app will run both ways. The installation is super simple. It's an app. We all download them every day from the App Store. So that was another really important thing to us when we looked at pushing technology forward, is that it's got to be simple. It has to be easy to use, and the installation needs to be simple. And with an app, a native app, you get all of those things. It is seamlessly integrated to Sage100 like the rest of our product line. And then, like I said, they're durable barcoding accessories. We've all seen the light-proof cases and all kinds of accessories to make even an iPhone or an Android phone rugged. And like I said, it's available in the App Store and will be available in Google Play shortly. So just some other key features which you'll see in the demo. On every screen, you have the ability to scan a barcode. You can do a lookup, or you can key in the entry. And this is big when we're talking about physical counts, because you may not want to buy a barcoding accessory for every single person that you're going to bring in during a physical count process. So even when you're doing physical count without a barcode scanner, if you're on iPhone or you're on your Android device, you can do a lookup, and it will display the image of the item that you're counting if it's in Sage100. So obviously, big proponent of scanning is that ensures accuracy. If you mix and match, you can have some people scanning, you can have some people looking up, or you can always key it in. Again, because we're connected real time, it's going to validate that whatever you're keying in is actually what you're supposed to be counting. It has a quick count review, so as a user, I can hit a review button and look at all of the items and all of the quantities of those items that I've counted and delete transactions directly from there. So that's a neat feature. If somebody gets sidetracked in the middle of a count and they want to see what they've done, they can do that. It will also display a count. So we never display in physical count the quantity that Sage thinks that you have. The user count displays what that user has counted. So it just displays, if I've counted 10 of this item, it shows me 10. It's not showing me what Sage shows as the quantity available. Another feature that we built into this, because it made sense to go along with physical count, is item inquiry. So it's included in the app, and it essentially just lets you pick an item, and it gives you all of the information that you need about that item. The quantity available, in what warehouses it's available, any alias item numbers that you have for that item, and then anything that's allocated. And you'll be able to see that again in the demo. So we price this two ways. It's subscription-based for an unlimited user amount of users for monthly, and that is nothing up front, no installation, obviously, because it's an app. And the reason for that subscription plan is that it allows our customers to see an ROI immediately from using the app. Just to go over some of the options out there that we have for Scanco counts, and again, it will run on any iOS, any Android device, but we wanted to show some of the more popular units right now. On the top left is actually a Motorola handheld that includes a 2D barcode imager and actually runs Android. So you get that rugged barcoding device that is running Android with the built-in scanner, so you don't have to connect a scanner via Bluetooth. The Intermec has a line of rugged devices. You're looking at a CK3X, which is here, and then the CS40, which is a new device from Intermec. It's a little smaller. It almost feels like a phone in your hand, but it again is more rugged, has the imager built in. As far as iPhone goes, we've partnered with Infinite Peripherals. They provide plug-and-play cases for iOS devices. So you actually, if you go to Lowe's, you'll be able to see these in action. Lowe's has actually adopted iPhones with the Infinite Peripheral cases. So it includes the imager, and you can actually get rugged cases from them. So basically turns any iOS device into a more ruggedized, fixed barcode scanner. The glove is another popular one. This connects via USB. You can use it with iOS or with Android. And it really allows for hands-free scanning. So you can wear your iOS or Android device on one arm and use this glove on the other, and your hands-free scanning. So that's another popular one right now for mobile devices. And then on the bottom left, you see a stand for iPad that actually has an integrated scanner built in. We use this where customers are looking for more of a fixed-mounted device. So those are also out there. Another one of our favorites right now is this Cat phone, and it's actually an Android-based phone that is manufactured by Caterpillar. It's got a 6-foot drop-to-concrete spec. It has a screen that you can use with wet fingers, so it's very durable, but it comes at the price of a cell phone. I think those are about $350 each. So you get the durability without the traditional Windows Mobile price tag. And then the bottom right is just a picture of what an integrated scanner looks like on iPad and iPad mini. So that, again, it will work on pretty much anything Android. These are some of the most popular accessories and hardware options that we're offering at this point. So I will hand it over to Tess and let her show you the good part.
Hey guys, thank you so much. Like Sean said, we really, really appreciate you guys taking the time out. And, you know, we wanted to spend time going through the product and giving you an idea of what your end users can experience with this application. So I'm going to go ahead and load it up. So hopefully in about a couple of seconds, you're going to be able to see my screen. All right, so as you guys can see here, I have a program that's essentially emulating everything that I'm doing on my device. I'm holding right now an iPod 5 Touch, and this is going to give me access to the applications that we've written here. So as you can see, I have the two apps loaded. I have ScanCo Sales and I have ScanCo Count. So let's go ahead and dive into ScanCo Count. So I'm going to launch the application just like any other app. It's going to pull up the login screen. So as you can see, as soon as I launch this, it's going in and it's making sure that we have a connection to our server. So the first thing that it's doing is loading all of my company data, and now it's asking me for my username and my password in the company. So we can have this preset, or you can have them auto-fulfill, or actually scan this information in as they're inputting it. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. As soon as I log into the application, there's a couple of things that I want you guys to notice. At the very top bar, you're going to see a green bar. This is what's going to show you if you're connected real-time or not. So that's going to indicate to the user, okay, right now I have that real-time view of my inventory. I have that real-time connection that I am able to write back into Sage100. So I'm going to start off by doing the physical count so that you can get an idea of how easy this application truly is going to be to use for your end users. We're coming up on a big time of the year for our customers that physical count is so painful and such a process that it's a great opportunity for you guys to be able to go out to your end users and give them an option that's available. So I'm going to touch physical count, and as soon as I do that, what this application is doing is going into Sage and loading the freeze file. So again, we have that real-time view of all of the items that are frozen, and it's going to go ahead and pull those over into the device. So I'm going to select Start Counting. And the first thing that the device is asking me for is, what's my item number? So there's a couple of different ways, as Sean said, that we can get this information in. We can actually scan in the item number, we can do a lookup, or we can key it in. So what I have now, I actually scanned in the item number using that infinite peripheral device that we were talking about. So as soon as I scan that in, it's validating that that's an item number that I'm allowed to count. It's giving the user the description of what they're counting, and it's also displaying the unit of measure in which they need to count. So this application out of the box has multi-bin capabilities built in if your end users are actually using multi-bin with either SWK or ACX. So we're going to be able to play into that right away. If they're not using multi-bin, that's okay, because this application is going to know that at the point that it launches. So the first thing, because I'm using multi-bin, it's automatically displaying the default bins that that item is in. So I'm going to hit Next, and now it's asking me for the quantity. Now, one really cool thing that we wanted to build into the application to give our end users a little bit more flexibility. As you guys can see, there's this little lockbox here. And what the lockbox is actually going to be able to do, it activates what we call Scan Each. So if I hit this lockbox, as you can see, it's locking the screen, and I can start scanning that item and having that auto accumulate for me. which is really great when we're dealing with a product that already has a barcode on there and we can just start scanning away. If for some reason I don't like that quantity and I need to change it, I unlock it, go back to the quantity field, and hit next. It's giving that user the beep so that it understands that it was a good scan and we're ready to move forward onto the next item number. So now I'm going to go ahead and scan in an item, Sage, so we wanted to make sure that we were able to support that and give those end users that capability to scan in lot numbers and, of course, serial numbers. So as you guys can see, as soon as I scan in that item, I have a picture set up in Sage. So it's going to automatically pull that picture over and give that end user the capability to identify, all right, here's exactly what I'm supposed to be counting. Again, it's taking me to the bin field, which I hit next. Now I simply have to scan in my lot number. As you can see, it has that real-time validation. So I'm going to say no to that, and I'm going to scan in a valid lot. Hit quantity. It's going to default to quantity 1. At this point, I can change the quantity if in fact I see more than 1, but I'm going to go ahead and hit next. Again, it's going to pull it over and take me back to the item field. Now, what you did or what with, so you can go and count another item. So all that I have to do to review what I've done so far is simply go back to my screen, and I have a review count. So this review count is going to show me every single thing that I've inputted. So I have the capability here to just hit edit and delete if I need to make those changes. This is where your users also have the capability to post the counts to the server. Now that's a scary word when we're talking about Sage, because post to us sometimes means that it's going to go through the entire process within Sage100, the posting process. That's not what our post means. What our post means is that it's sending it over into physical count entry as a transaction to where you have the capability to run your variance reports and go back and count if need be. As Sean mentioned during the PowerPoint presentation, we wanted to not only give the capability to do physical counts and cycle counts, but we also wanted to have anybody who had a phone to have an idea where their item number is. Just that simple inventory inquiry, which is so important when you're talking about inventory and making sure that that customer satisfaction is there. Because when you tell someone that their inventory is available, it better be available. So in item inquiry, all that I have to do is a simple lookup. It's going to give me a full list of all of the item numbers that I have set up that I can essentially inquire about. So I also have a search field at the very top, which will filter down and to search into the specific item that I have questions about. So I'm going to go into, let's pick 6655. So as soon as I pick that item number, again, it gives me the description. It tells me the unit of measure that I have set up. It also will go through all of the different warehouses that I have this item in, the quantity on hand, and of course the quantity allocated, because that's pretty important to know as well. And it's also going to display any aliases that I have set up for that item number. So that's a really great feature for anyone really within the company to have access to, all by pulling up an app on their phone. So I'm going to take it back to the home screen.
Now, Tess, we do have a question, if I may interrupt.
Oh, please, please.
We do have a question. Thank you, Andrew, so much for your question. Where did the count of 45 come from?
Oh, that's a great question, Andrew. What that's doing, that's an actual count of all of your users, okay? So that's the total count that you're working off of. So that's why you're giving a real-time view of what everyone else has essentially counted on their device.
And then we do have another question, too, from Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. Does it handle count cards if not using multi-bin?
That's another great question. With this first version, we don't have a count card available, but that is coming down the line because we have that capability with our standard warehouse product.
Perfect. That's all the questions we have for now. If anybody else has any questions, please go ahead and click on that question mark and indicate your question manually within the text fields, Or if you'd like to ask your question live, go ahead and raise your hand. Andrew, I noticed that your audio pin was not indicated. In order to speak live, we'll need you to indicate your audio pin into the webinar pane. And you do that, your audio pin should be directly under the phone number that you dialed into. So once you do that, then I can unmute your line. And thank you so much, Tess. I'll go ahead and let you keep going.
No, you're fine. The nice thing about this application is that it's that easy. It's that short, it's that sweet to be able to go through and actually give your customers or yourself the capability to go into your inventory, have that real-time connection, start scanning your items, start looking them up, and counting them. So the good news about this is that we're not going to spend any more time going over the product because that's it. It's as simple and easy as, you know, a quick 10-minute demo to go through it. So I'd love to open it up at this point, and, you know, any other questions about how it works, the functionality, I'm more than happy to address.
And while we're thinking of questions, I'm going to go ahead and launch a poll just to ask the attendees, are you interested in learning more about ScanCo? If we could just have the audience answer that poll while we're thinking of more questions. And I'm looking. So, Tess, what is the ballpark cost of this?
Well, as John mentioned, we wanted to price it out two different ways. You know, obviously there's been a lot of talk within the market when we're talking about a subscription-based model, but we found that, you know, some Sage100 end users are open to it, some aren't. So we wanted to be able to give both options. So there's a purchase price where you purchase the software and it's yours, and of course there's a subscription price. When we're talking about the subscription monthly, that is for an unlimited number of users, and that's going to run around $4.99 a month for a company. There's also the actual purchase price, which that includes the module, and then a per user license fee, which the module is around $1,500, and I want to say per user is around $350. So we always try to, you know, qualify. If you're going to be using less than, you know, around 8 devices, it makes more sense just to purchase it. If you have 40 people that you want to go out there and count, it makes more sense to do a monthly. So it really just depends on the situation.
And what's involved as far as implementation? What's that process look like?
Well, as Sean said, you know, the implementation behind it is very quick and easy. There's a piece of software that we're going to be installing on the actual mass server itself, and which brings me to some of the requirements of this product. Right now we're working with server 2008 and above, and this is going to be available for Sage users version 4.4 and above. So there's a piece of software that takes about 2 minutes to install on the actual mass server. And then we also designed a portal for our end users where that's where they're going to have the capability to set up all of the users, what they're allowed to do, what, you know, different types of information of what warehouses they need to access, if they're allowed to add certain items to the freeze file, all those little details. And that really just takes the time of, depending upon how many users are going to be using this. So, oh, I'm sorry, I almost interrupted the poll. Well, the great thing about this too is that, you know, if you have customers that you think that this would be a good fit for, we're always here for you guys. So, you know, you give us a ring, we can go over the product. This is something that we can, of course, you can download to your phone, so that way you can take it out there, show your end users, and also show, you know, for the people that would be using this, obviously within their own warehouse, they can download it and play with it too a little bit.
And we do have one more question, it looks like, Tess. Thank you, Kevin, for your question. Assuming that each device can post counts to the server as often as needed?
Sure. That's not, we're not dealing, with anything, any limitation when we're talking about that.
And then, Tess, do you have a slide with your contact information, or could you quickly just tell us your contact information, your phone number, and your email address in case anybody would like to reach out to you directly right after the presentation?
Sure. Mine's very easy. Sean's is very easy. My name, Tess, T-E-S-S, @scanco.com. Sean's is the same, except for his name is Sean, S-H-A-U-N, @scanco.com. And that's the easiest way to get us. Then, of course, we can start the correspondence and give you our phone number and go through that process, because we would love to be able to talk to, the partners about some of the customers that you have that this would be a good fit for, and, of course, any end users out there that this could be a good fit for as well.
And it's always advantageous to have the partner as involved as possible, because they really know your business as the Sage100 ERP user. So all those pieces of the puzzle come together nicely to implement your solution.
Exactly. I mean, our partners that we work with, we couldn't do it without them. That's who understands they understand their end user. They understand what they need and all of the different requirements that their customers have. So, for us, they're a key piece of this entire equation.
So I don't see any other questions. I'm going to go ahead and take a peek again and see if we have any raised hands. And with that, I think we've answered all the questions. Tess, did you have anything else you'd like to close with?
No, I just would love to, just again, thank you all so much for the time. And, we were really excited to be able to show this to you all today. And we're here for any questions, any concerns. We're more than happy to address it and, really, really help people with this horrible, long process. So we're excited to get something out there to make people's lives a little bit easier.
All right. With that said, thank you so much, Tess. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And we did record this presentation, and we'll send the recording out to the attendees. And shortly thereafter, probably by tomorrow, we'll have the recording done and posted to our YouTube channel. We'll also post it on our blog at erpvar.com, and we'll get it to you via email. If anybody has any questions, please let us know. And thanks so much again for taking time out to listen to our presentation. And we will be in touch. Thank you, Tess and Sean.
Thank you, Adrian, so much.
All right, everybody, take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.